Good evening. Welcome back into Finnerty. I'm Rob Finnerty. Glad you're here. Happy Halloween. 5 days from Election Day. And I'll just say, throughout history, it's typically the candidate that's having the most fun that ends up winning. And Donald Trump clearly having the most fun right now. From McDonald's to the barber shop to the garbage truck yesterday, he's having a good time. And I think he realizes that 5 days from now, it's either Donald Trump, next president of the United States, or Donald Trump, private citizen. And Donald Trump, once again, is doing things that we've never seen before. Harris campaign spokesman Ian Sams tweeted today that Trump just had not one, but two Michael Dukakis tank moments, which is just completely wrong. And if Kamala loses, this is going to be one of the reasons why. These people just don't get the American people anymore. They have no idea who you are or what your values are. Donald Trump looks as natural in a trash truck and a McDonald's apron as he does sitting behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. Michael Dukakis riding around in a tank in 1988 was a total disaster, and it cost him the election. If Trump loses, it's not going to be because he went to McDonald's. Whoopi Goldberg, another person who just doesn't get the American people anymore, spent her morning talking about how Trump looked getting into that trash truck. Take a look.
You know who tried to seize on the garbage talk controversy with a last-minute campaign stunt? He dressed up as a garbage man. He could not get into the cab. Okay? Kind of makes you want to see his medical records, doesn't it?
All right. So the difference here, Whoopi, is that Donald Trump did not fall, unlike Joe Biden, who's been falling for the last 4 years. But yes, Donald Trump, the billionaire, former president, who's had the door held for him for at least the last 20 years, doesn't spend a lot of time getting in and out of 18-wheelers or garbage trucks, and the handle on those doors, it's also a little bit different. They pull out vertically. You see, it's not like the door on your Chevy. And guess what? Trump caught himself. It was fine. He didn't fall. It all worked out. But what Democrats just aren't getting is that Donald Trump is happy right now. He made a lot of people laugh yesterday. He made a lot of people laugh when he was at McDonald's a week ago. I was at the store this afternoon. They are out of trash bags. Trash bags were sold out. And tonight, trick-or-treaters across the country are wearing those trash bags. They're dressed up as garbage. They're also wearing those orange vests. People like to laugh. People are attracted to happy. Elon Musk tweeted today that if Trump wins, the next 4 years are going to be fun, and everybody likes fun. But you know what people do not like? They don't like being called Nazis, racists, fascists, deplorable, or garbage. There's nothing fun about any of that. People show you who they are, not by what they say, but by what they do, their actions. And when Joe Biden called half of America garbage, this wasn't a comedian making jokes at Madison Square Garden. This was a sitting president setting policy. Listen.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
There it is. And we're going to play that again. The only garbage I see out there is from his supporters. Now think about the way that Joe and Kamala have treated you, the American people, over the last 4 years. Record high gas prices, mortgage rates in the 7s, inflation reaching 9%, record credit card debt, wars, crime, 15 million illegal aliens. Think about what life has been like under Joe and Kamala. They've treated the American people like garbage. They've treated you like you treat your garbage. Think about it. When your trash bag fills up in the kitchen, you seal it up, you take it out, you put it in the garbage can, and once a week the trash truck comes and takes it to the dump, and you never think about it again. And that's the way they treat you. And that's the way the administration has treated the American people for the last 4 years. Now think about the way they treat other people. Illegal aliens, for example. They break the law the second they cross the southern border or the northern border. And Joe and Kamala give them free cell phones, free health care, free housing, spending money, and a free ticket to wherever they want to go. They've never had it so good. No wonder they are coming. Think about Jocelyn Nungaray, Laken Riley, Rachel Morin, all killed by illegal aliens. They are not garbage. Once again, here's Joe Biden.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Again, if you don't believe what Joe Biden is saying, look at his actions. Think about how Joe and Kamala have treated the people of North Carolina affected by the hurricane, the people of East Palestine, Ohio, Springfield, Ohio, the people of Waukesha, Wisconsin, the people of Maui. Joe and Kamala have treated them all like garbage. Think about all the young girls out there right now in the fall, forced to compete against men in women's sports. Joe and Kamala are treating your daughters and your granddaughters like garbage. Think about years of vaccine mandates, people losing their livelihoods, their careers. And think about the millions of illegals that were crossing our southern border at the same time. No mandates for them. You were treated like garbage. Think about Afghanistan, Abbey Gate, 13 Americans killed by a suicide bomber. And think about Joe Biden checking his watch at the dignified transfer when their coffins arrived back on U.S. soil. Garbage. That's how you treat garbage. You check your watch because you don't care, because to you none of this matters. Think about the character of a person who calls someone they disagree with a Nazi. Think about that. And think about how the media has lied to you for years now, even in places where it's supposed to be straight news right down the middle. It's not. Listen.
Vice President Kamala Harris rallied in North Carolina and Pennsylvania today and is in Wisconsin tonight. Former President Donald Trump was in North Carolina earlier and tonight is also in Wisconsin. He landed in Green Bay just a short time ago and then pulled this campaign stunt, speaking to reporters from a garbage truck. Proof that he and his supporters are giving no grace to a gaffe by President Biden, where he, in his explanation, inadvertently called Trump supporters garbage. This, of course, was in response to that racist joke about floating garbage told at a Trump rally just last weekend. Vice President Harris is distancing herself from the negativity and trying to drive home her unifying message that if elected, she will represent all Americans.
It's remarkable, isn't it? So she's managing editor. So technically she gets to say whatever she wants, but CBS just fired her. She's not going to be the evening news anchor starting at CBS in January. So Nora, it was a gaffe by Joe Biden. So she said he inadvertently called Trump supporters garbage. Nora, how could you possibly know if something said by the President of the United States was inadvertent? Let's play it one more time.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Is his supporters, period. There's nothing inadvertent about that, period. That's objective. It's not subjective. It sounds pretty darn deliberate to me, Nora. And it sounds like Nora is a lot like Joe and Kamala. According to multiple reports, but one that we just found, Nora is rude to hair, makeup, and wardrobe staff, which says everything you need to know about Nora O'Donnell. The way you treat people matters. And she treats people just like Joe and Kamala, like garbage. Maybe that's why she's not doing well there at CBS. What's ironic about the whole situation, Joe Biden, the candidate that nobody wanted in 2020, might be the one that ultimately brings this entire charade down. He's so mad, he's so upset by what they did to him in July that he's willing to ruin his legacy. He's angry, he's old, he's upset, and he's willing to bring the Kamala ship down with him. And people forget that Joe and Kamala never really liked each other in the first place.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of all people.
I have supported the ERA from the very beginning when I ran for the
Vice President Biden, 30 seconds.
Oh, boy, people forgot about that one. Biden, though, backed himself into a corner when he promised to pick a woman as his running mate, and then he was under a lot of pressure to pick a woman of color, right? So he wasn't going to pick Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian. His options weren't that great. Kamala, really, his only choice. Joe never wanted to run with Kamala, all right? They were a garbage match from the start, and now, years into a really bad relationship, the worm has finally turned, and Joe Biden is trying to sink that ship. And if you needed more proof that we won't see much of Joe Biden over the next 5 days until Election Day, here's Joe Biden last night, welcoming trick-or-treaters to the White House. And Joe thought it would be a good idea to bite multiple babies. And you can see in the video here, every baby that walked up, he would bite the leg or the arm or the shoulder. I've got two little kids, and when they were babies, my wife and I would say, "You're so cute, I could eat you," but we didn't mean it. I would say it. I was also talking about my own kids, but I wasn't biting strangers' babies. Like if a friend of mine came over with their baby, I wouldn't bite that baby. So the 2024 election is a turnout election. We know that much right now. This is not a persuasion election. That much is clear. It's also clear that the closing argument from Joe and Kamala is exactly what it was 4 years ago. Total and complete garbage.